Hi everyone, it's me, and today let's build a Jurassic Park properly. Let's go! I'm sorry, let's get started.
Let's kick things off with a mini theory. You know, every Jurassic Park movie features dinosaurs chasing humans all over the place looking for a snack? Yeah, probably wouldn't happen, especially when you're talking about the big boys like the T-Rex. You see, T-Rexes are apex predators that need a daily caloric intake of 200,000 calories.
A lot of calories per day.
The average human body contains a little over 125,000 calories, which is pretty darn close to that 200K daily limit. So at first, that would make it seem like humans are the perfect high-efficiency snack, the power bar pick-me-up for a dinosaur. Except
Predator bar to survive your Jurassic day. Human flavor. What am I doing, man?
there's one problem with that. The human is gonna run away. Animals are primed to find the most efficient sources of food, and considering that an adult T-Rex topped out somewhere between 15 and 25 miles per hour while they run, or 24 to 40 kilometers an hour, any human with a halfway decent car is gonna be able to get away.
Man, slow down a little.
I don't think so.
No, Jeff Goldblum, you can listen to her, you don't gotta go that fast.
Must go faster.
And that's not even mentioning our ability to hide in small spaces. A massive 6-ton T-Rex being forced to hunt down a fleeing or hiding human would be hemorrhaging massive amounts of energy. Suddenly, that high-efficiency snack has turned into a high-efficiency workout. And if you're gonna be spending those calories in hunting, the payoff is gonna need to be much bigger. For proof of this, just look at other apex predators in the wild today. Both lions and wolves can go for almost a week or two without food before finally getting themselves a good catch, at which point they end up eating up to a fourth of their body weight in one sitting. Believe it or not, some crocodiles can go for a year without a meal before they end up chomping down on half their body weight.
Wow, 1 year. Wow. The more you know, I guess, the more you know.
Pattern holds for many large modern-day predators, with these animals getting weeks or months worth of calories all in one sitting. These are feast and famine animals. If they're going hard after a meal, well, it's gotta be a big one. A human just wouldn't fill that need for a T-Rex. Why go after a puny human when there's a chonky stegosaurus that can give you more food that's easier to take down? It makes scenes like this one in the movie, where a T-Rex leaves a big kill it's already eating to go run after some humans that are a fraction of the caloric value, absolutely ridiculous. No wonder the Spinosaurus kills the T-Rex in the end. It was the far smarter animal.
Welcome
Clever girl.
to Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory. Hi. Hi.
The show we're diving into the lore of your favorite franchises has been genetically inserted into our DNA. So if you were a child growing up in the 90s, it's likely that you saw Jurassic Park and fell in love with it. Seriously, this movie and its various sequels created an entire generation of dinosaur kids. Except, you know, there's one problem with that. What's attacking the humans throughout the series, yeah, they aren't dinosaurs.
That first park was legit. They didn't need these genetic hybrids. They just needed dinosaurs, real dinosaurs.
Actually, forgettable side character, that's not what I meant. Even before they started mixing and matching genes in the reboot trilogy, they weren't real dinosaurs. They've never been real dinosaurs. And that's probably a good thing, because if they were, well, Jurassic Park would be about as dangerous as an aquarium. It would yield one really boring movie. So today we're gonna
Aquarium is not that dangerous. I've been to one. Multiple different times.
We're gonna be building our own Jurassic Park to show you why a park made of real dinosaurs is probably gonna be the safest zoo ever. Don't believe me? Let's go. Now, this first part is something I bet a lot of you already know. See, despite the original Jurassic Park really shaping a lot of how modern pop culture views dinosaurs, these aren't real dinosaurs. And I don't mean they're animatronics or CGI or whatever. What I mean is that while it was impossible to know what exactly dinosaurs looked like, it definitely wasn't anything like this. For the longest time, all we had to go off of to figure out how dinosaurs looked like were their fossilized bones, which led to a great deal of artistic liberty being taken with the imagery that we now associate with them. Many artists grossly underestimated the amount of soft tissues like fat that dinosaurs had, because almost none of it survived the process of fossilization. So their interpretations were actually way skinnier than dinosaurs probably were.
So case in point, let's be understanding about it. I'm so glad that as we move on, as we learn more things about dinosaurs, we can improve upon the previous mistakes. Like, for example, feathers, colors, They have those.
Traditional paleo artists, or people who create art of extinct creatures, call this misinterpretation shrink wrapping. Just to give you an idea of how wildly different dinosaurs might have looked, in 2012 a group of paleo artists released a book called All Yesterdays, featuring art that imagined how modern animals would look like if they were shrink wrapped the same way as dinosaurs.
And case in point, right now is in the year 2022. 2012 is a decade ago. Things will have improved significantly more than then.
Like this beauty right
then.
here. What do you think that thing is? Those sickle-like arms, that sinewy neck, those terrifying claws? It's a swan, just a swan. But you immediately get the idea of what they're talking about here, right? Jurassic Park's art direction used a lot of that shrink-wrapping technique, giving us a heavily skewed perception of what these things would have actually looked like. They also gave all the dinosaurs scaly reptilian skin. However, over the past 3 decades, paleontologists have concluded that, while many dinosaurs were scaly, some of the really iconic ones, like the Velociraptor and T-Rex, were most likely covered in feathers. This was proven with the discovery of fossils like the Archaeopteryx found in Germany in 2016. Notice the feather indents all around its wings? That same year, a 99-million-year-old piece of amber found in Myanmar was discovered to have preserved an actual dinosaur feather. Sadly, no dino DNA to extract and clone from that one. The filmmakers behind Jurassic Park responded to the discoveries by politely ignoring them and continuing to peddle scientific lies. Look, I get it. I understand why. These conclusions were reached well after the first Jurassic Park came out, when they had already established an iconic look for their big monsters. They even had written in an in-universe excuse because these dinosaurs were spliced with frog DNA, which could potentially explain the difference in appearance. And the fact that our understanding of dinosaurs has evolved since Jurassic Park has been lampshaded by the more modern films, like here in Jurassic Park 3.
What John Hammond and InGen did at Jurassic Park is create genetically engineered theme park monsters, nothing more and nothing less.
And in
So you're trying to say that they are monsters and not dinosaurs? Why?
Jurassic World.
And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different, but you didn't ask for reality, you asked for more teeth.
So dinosaurs
What's
IRL would clearly look different, but all this research got me thinking, what if we did ask for reality? If we were somehow able to clone dinosaurs and completely recreate them without any sort of genetic trickery that the scientists use in the movie, how would they fare today? What would we have to do if we wanted to make a real film theory approved Jurassic Park? The Theorassic Park, if you will. Well, loyal theorists, let me tell ya, the real Jurassic Park wouldn't look anything like we see in these movies. Want to see it? Well, come along.
I'll show you.
First, we're gonna have to specify what exactly is gonna be in our Theorassic Park. See, what we broadly consider to be the dinosaur times actually covers hundreds of millions of years, which are grouped into multiple geologic periods with cool sounding names.
So case in point, a long time ago. Like literally millions upon millions of years ago. So yeah.
Jurassic period was just one of those, covering the massive stretch of time between 201 million years ago and 145 million years ago.
Yep. Millions of years ago. Yep.
However, most of the big-ticket dinosaurs that we'll want in our park actually hail from the Cretaceous period, which was much more recent, spanning from 145 million years ago to 66 million years ago. That includes the T-Rex, the Velociraptor, Triceratops, Brontosaurus, Mosasaurus, Parasaurolophus, basically all the major players from the movies. I guess Cretaceous Park didn't sound quite as cool for the branding. Anyway, because we want reactions like this...
T-Rex? Mm-hmm. You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh.
Say again?
That's the period we're going to be examining. But let me tell ya, recreating the conditions for these animals to live comfortably isn't going to be as easy as picking out the right tropical island for sale. Pretty much everything about the environment was completely different during the Cretaceous. For instance, the Earth was much hotter back then. Only the highest latitude mountains show evidence of glaciers and consistent year-long snowfall. The planet was so warm, in fact, that dinosaur fossils have been found just 15 degrees off the Cretaceous South Pole, which would be the equivalent today of finding a T-Rex chilling out with penguins down in Antarctica. This is all because the Cretaceous Earth was what's called a greenhouse world. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was about 1,000 to 1,400 parts per million, sometimes even reaching as high as 2,000. By contrast, pre-industrial revolution human civilization was keeping CO2 levels sitting at around 280 parts per million.
Wow, the difference is literally in the thousands. Wow. Okay, the more you know, I guess. The more you know.
Recently, it's climbed up to about 409. Even still, the world these dinosaurs lived in had an atmosphere with between 2.5 to 5 times more CO2 than our own. It might not sound like that big of a deal, but it is. It meant that global average temperatures were about 9 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than they are today, or 5 to 10 degrees Celsius hotter. Additionally,
Case in point, I'm just glad that MapPad included both degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit for his global audience. So thank you so much. Thank you.
the overall climate for the Cretaceous was a lot more consistent worldwide. The difference in temperature between the equator and the poles could be as little as half as what we experience today. This means that dinosaurs were likely mesothermic, meaning that they were somewhere between warm and cold-blooded. They had some ability to regulate their body temperature, but they didn't need to because the Earth's temperature was much more stable. TLDR, the dinosaurs at Jurassic Park might find the modern world a bit brisk for their tastes. As responsible zookeepers, we're gonna have to account for that. But obviously a higher amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is gonna change more than just the temperature. It's gonna affect how these dinosaurs breathed. Scientists are reasonably confident that dinosaurs breathed oxygen, and despite elevated CO2 levels, there was still plenty of it in the atmosphere during the Cretaceous period. But scientists can't agree on how much oxygen there was. By analyzing air bubbles trapped in amber between 130 and 67 million years ago, some studies have shown that oxygen could have made up as much as 30 to 35% of the atmosphere. Other studies have that number much lower, comparing the makeup of fossilized plant resin to modern day plants to conclude that the atmospheric oxygen levels could have been as low as 10 to 15%. Regardless, both of those numbers are actually very different from the modern day oxygen level of 21%, and a swing that large in either direction would be problematic for any dinosaur trying to live in the present. You see,
Yeah, the range is way too big.
if the Cretaceous atmosphere contained 30 to 35% oxygen, breathing modern air would be dizzying for the dinosaurs. You ever travel up a mountain after spending a lot of time at sea level? If you have, you'll know that it's exhausting. It can sometimes take days for your body and brain to adjust to the thinner levels of oxygen in the air as you
Yeah, the feeling of not enough oxygen.
climb further and further above sea level. Now, think about a dinosaur that lived by breathing air that was over 35% oxygen. Over a third. Well, it would be like a person going from sea level to a mountain that was 9,500 feet tall, 2,900 meters. It's certainly not impossible to survive. I mean, people have evolved to live in elevated places like Tibet.
Life, finds a way.
When there's life, there is hope.
But these dinosaurs would likely have something similar to ongoing altitude sickness, suffering from nausea, dizziness, and headaches all the time. In some serious cases, altitude sickness can cause a buildup of fluid in your lungs that can be fatal. On the other hand, if dinosaurs evolved breathing an atmosphere that was just 10 to 15% oxygen, jumping up to modern day levels would add 25 to 50% more oxygen than they were used to. At that point, they have to worry about the opposite problem, oxygen toxicity, a condition that you get when you breathe in too much extra oxygen. This can harm lung tissue, cause parts of your lungs to fill with fluid, or cause them to collapse. In some serious and severe cases, it can even lead to death.
So case in point, it would damage your organs in a bad way.
Basically, bodies evolved to breathe very specific mixtures of air, and any significant deviation from that mixture isn't going to be too great for the dinosaurs in our park, which again, is going to present us with some very serious problems. But beyond just the survival of our dinos, something else that would be lame about our park is that most of our star attractions are going to be asleep during peak hours. Several paleontologists have theorized that a surprising number of dinosaurs were actually nocturnal, and we know this because of a very specific type of fossil. As we've already discussed, soft tissues within and around the eye basically never survived the process of fossilization. However, sometimes the scleral rings did. These
The skeletal rings, sorry.
are bony rings around the eye socket which help to support the eyeballs of animals with eyes that aren't spherical. Paleontologists have been able to determine the size and shape of dinosaur eyes based exclusively on these rings, which in turn helps them to determine if the eyes were built for daylight or low light situations. Animals that operate during the day, they have plenty of light to work with, so their scleral rings tend to be thicker. Nocturnal animals, on the other hand, need to get as much light into their eyes as possible, meaning that their scleral rings tend to be thinner, leaving a wide hole in the skull. This was most common in theropods, including one of the most popular dinosaurs, the Velociraptor, a fact that the Lost World actually used to great effect back in 1997. Anyway, considering that dinos like the Velociraptor are going to be a big draw for the park, and I doubt that any guests are going to want to be out at 2 a.m. to see small raptor chickens, well, we're going to need to do something about simulating a reverse day-night cycle for some of these guys. So,
Just stop for a moment first. Do you notice that he mentions Velociraptor as chickens? Because, case in point, chickens have dinosaur genes in them, if I'm not wrong. I remember one chicken have teeth. It's like, why?
Oh, for the film theory approved Jurassic Park, we're actually dealing with a lot of issues. We're working with animals that are living at elevated temperatures that need to be consistent year-round. They're used to a hot, CO2-rich atmosphere. They're used to a precise level of oxygen that was either meaningfully higher or lower than present day, and we'll want to be able to simulate lighting conditions to reverse day and night so people can actually see some action. Sure sounds like a lot if we want the dinosaurs to be happy and healthy, but I have a solution.
A lot of checklists.
Theoretical solution. See,
A theoretical solution.
a real-world Jurassic Park is possible if and only if all the dinos live in giant terrariums.
Oh, there it is.
Yep,
Well.
just as lame as it sounds. At our hypothetical Jurassic Park, each terrarium could have artificially managed levels of both oxygen and CO2. It would be much easier to control the temperature inside each terrarium so the dinosaurs are in environments that they're comfortable with, and within a terrarium we could simulate a day-night cycle using blue light LEDs, thereby recreating day during night and vice versa. And you want to know the craziest part of all of this? A Jurassic Park designed in this way with real dinosaurs in mind would be so much safer than we see in the movies. The dinosaurs would be in entirely isolated environments. Sure, we'd have to sacrifice the whole petting zoo angle, but not a single guest would ever get close enough to hurt or be hurt by a dinosaur. And if there were ever to be a breach in a terrarium and the dinosaur escaped, well, the massively different temperature and atmosphere would daze the creature, exhaust.
Oh yeah, just make them go to sleep. Just think about it. If they are nocturnal, just turn on the lights. If they're active in the day, just turn off the lights. Make them go to sleep. And if you're sleeping, you're not hurting anyone, right?
And confusing it as it dealt with either altitude sickness or oxygen toxicity. In turn, that would make it easier to recapture and return to the proper habitat. It's wild how much differently the events of Jurassic Park would have gone down if, you know, they had actually cloned dinosaurs as opposed to creating whatever weird genetic hybrids these things are meant to be.
Don't worry, I'm not making the same mistakes again.
No, you're making all new ones.
No wonder no one wanted to invest in this thing.
Mr. Hammond, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.
Yeah, because they're investing in mine. But hey, even with the incredibly dangerous genetic hybrids from Jurassic Park, there was still so much more that InGen could have done to make their park safer, both for the guests and for the dinosaurs. If you want to know what
Yes,
3
and
simple
that's
fixes could have saved Jurassic Park, click the video that you see on screen right here. Or if you want to watch us uncover the conspiracy that doomed Jurassic World from the very start, you can check out our lore-based video over here. And hey, if you want more videos just like these, you should chomp down on that subscribe button like a T-Rex that hasn't eaten in months. And as
Yep, so subscribe and ring the notification bell as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.
always remember, it's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Well, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you find this video very educational and just surprisingly interesting to watch. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have any share of us. Down below. Don't forget to follow my channel and hope to see you all in my next live stream. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. And I hope to see you all in my next live stream. In my next video. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Subscribe.